In this tutorial, we will be looking at the Grades tool in D2L. Specifically, we will be going through the Grade Setup Wizard. The first time that you log into your D2L course and go to the quiz or the grades area, you'll see you'll have to complete the Grade Setup Wizard. Once you've completed it, you can go back through it at any time and make adjustments. So let's get started. We click the Start button. First, we have to decide what kind of grading system we'll be using, whether we're using weighted or points. A weighted gradebook is where all of the items and categories within the gradebook add up to 100%. A points gradebook is where the items within the gradebook have points arbitrarily associated with them and they can add up to whatever value. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to create a weighted gradebook, but I will comment on points as we go through it as well. And then we click Next. And then we have to decide if we want a calculated final grade or an adjusted final grade. The calculated final grade is where D2L just uses all of the items in the gradebook to calculate the final course grade, which you likely will do when you calculate your own final grades. But the adjusted final grade lets the instructor decide which items to include in that final grade calculation. So if for some reason you decide you don't want to include all of the items, you can modify it if you select adjusted final grade. I prefer this one because it gives the instructor more flexibility. And then we click Next. Here we decide how we want to treat ungraded items. An ungraded item in the gradebook, let's say a student hasn't completed an assignment yet. If you don't enter a grade in the gradebook, you have to specify how you want it to be treated. If you say drop ungraded items, anything that doesn't have a grade associated with it will not be included in the final grade calculation. If you say treat ungraded items as zeros, then they will be included in the final grade calculation, but it will be like the student failed the activity. If you use drop ungraded items, then you need to remember to go back into the gradebook and enter zeros anytime a student does not complete an activity. If you say treat ungraded items as 0, just know that for the students it will look like anything that is that they haven't done yet for the course will look like they're failing it. So in either case, just make sure that you keep your students in the loop as to how ungraded items are treated in your gradebook. I'm going to drop ungraded items at this point, and then I'm just going to remember to enter zeros for anything that isn't done. And then you can automatically keep the final grade updated. If you don't have a super large grade book, I would go ahead and check this. But if you do have a really large grade book, I would say more than 20, 25 items, I don't know that I would check this because it can take some time to load your grade book each time you go in. But remember, you can always come back through and uncheck it if you're finding that it's just too much of a hassle. And then say Next. And now we have to pick a grading scheme. A grading scheme in D2L is where the letter grades come into play. The default scheme is just a percentage, so if a student gets a 9 out of a 10 on an assignment, the grade scheme that will be displayed will just be the percentage, so it'll just show 90%. If you have letter grades set up that are associated with the percentages, then it will display the corresponding letter. So if you have a grade scheme set up so that an A is equal to a 90%, that item that had a 9 out of 10 would also be displayed as a letter grade A. I'm just going to keep it as the default scheme here, and later we'll go look at grade schemes a little bit more in depth. And then I hit Next. And then number of decimal places to display. I'm just going to leave this as the default of 2. Hit Next. And then this is where we decide how we want things displayed in our gradebook. I want to show the points grade. I don't want to show the weighted grade though. And I'm going to show the grade scheme color and symbol. I'm showing 2 decimal places. If I have any text items, I'm going to show 15 characters. That's fine. And I don't need to display the final grade calculation to users. And then hit Next. I can review my summary and then hit Finish. And once you finish going through the Grade Setup Wizard, at that point you're ready to start creating grade schemes and entering grade items into your gradebook.